Hi, everyone. It's Pastor Dave. I'm here to assess whether you're living your best Christian value-based life. And it is my opinion that if you are a Republican/Trump voter, then no. So if you're calling yourself a Christian and you are also a Republican/Trump voter, then no. You can't honestly say you're living your best Christian value-based life. And that's even if you consider yourself like a fiscal conservative, a social conservative, or of course, ultimately the white supremacist. Now, I suppose Republicans will argue that there's more to the Republican Party than these three general categories, but it's really not true. Like a fiscal conservative, I'm sure what they call the Freedom Caucus or the Tea Party, and even the libertarians would be regarded as the fiscal conservatives. And the reason why they're not Christian value-based is because there are some things that need to be done at the large scale in order to provide meaningful care for those in need. The best example is Medicare for All. So to reject the Medicare for All concept because you think it's too expensive and you don't want your government to create major programs like that. I understand you want to live within your means and all that, and that sounds wonderful, except if your value is to help those in need and providing health insurance so that everyone in the country is covered, you can't get any more Christian values than that. So your fiscal conservatism is not a Christian value-based perspective. It just isn't. So we can reject the fiscal conservatives who insist they are true people of faith and that they are really Christian in their thinking and in their political viewpoints. They're not. Social conservatives, that seems like pretty obvious. Social conservatives will, again, social conservatives have their own set of different groups and all that, but they all come down to the fact that they want to define marriage between a man and a woman, so they reject all of the rights associated with the LGBTQIA plus community. So right there, you've already rejected a major portion of the population based on their sexual alternative lifestyle. And in so doing, you have also rejected your Christian values because it should matter to you. As far as the abortion issue, which I know is a social conservative issue, the problem with your abortion point of view is that as a social conservative, you're more concerned with the civil law, the enforcement part of abortion, rather than your compassionate side of the abortion issue. So if you have a young woman who is pregnant and needs to, well, get an abortion, are you as a Christian reaching out and finding ways to help her? Like you don't want her to choose to kill her baby, but she's overwhelmed, she can't possibly take care of her baby, she has nowhere to turn, she doesn't know what to do. Are the good Christians reaching out with love and compassion instead of condemnation and judgment? I don't think so. So I am pro-life. So on the issue of abortion, I get what you're talking about, but you're going about it in the completely wrong direction. You're not serving as a Christian value-based political activist. You should be part of groups that reach out and try to help women and try to convince them, not by making them afraid, not by claiming their eternal damnation, nothing like that, but just to reach out and say, you really can do this, and we're here for you. We can provide the proper medical care. We can provide whatever education or job training you need to be able to take care of yourself and your baby. That's the way to do it in the Christian world. Let's make laws so it's impossible for somebody to get an abortion and then send them to jail if they should decide to do them, is completely the opposite of a Christian value-based perspective. And finally, I don't believe I have to say this, but I guess I do have to say this. If you are a white supremacist, meaning you feel that the white race is superior and better than every other race, any brown and black people, then you're not living your best Christian value-based life. That should be pretty obvious. When your philosophy is rooted in fear and hatred, then you have nothing to claim about Christianity. You have no claim or no sense of rightness when you claim that as a white supremacist, you know the white race is superior and therefore you are entitled to do what you can to make the lives of brown and black people and gays and Jews and any of the other groups that you single out as being not worth your time, not worth your compassion, and certainly not worth your Christian values, then you're not a Christian. And I know you may even claim, even quote the Bible. Just because you read the Bible and know it, memorize it from beginning to end, does not make you a Christian. Being good at recalling chapter and verse of the Bible is nothing. It is meaningless if you do not have the values that Christ wanted to instill in us. And if I have to go over it again, I will. We're talking about values like non-judgment, where you stop judging others for being sinful, because that's sinful. And you stop judging yourself. You're a human being. You're going to make mistakes. It isn't doing you any good to live by the oppression of a complete judgmental value system where you condemn even your own acts to the detriment of your own spirit. Obviously, things like forgiveness, where you forgive yourself and you have the ability to forgive others for acting in bad ways, because that's really the vision Christ had for us. He wanted us ultimately to live in peace together. And one of the ways to get there is through forgiveness. And of course, through love, through acts of compassion, through acts of generosity, by helping those in need, being charitable. And we can do it on a grand scale, on a political scale. We need large scale solutions to our problems. And so if you're voting for Republican and Trump, you're not acting as a Christian. You just simply are not. Your Christian values are not in line with your political values. That's why you can't claim to be living your best Christian value-based life. You simply cannot. If you refuse to embrace your own Christian values as part of your political viewpoint, then you cannot claim you're even acting as a Christian. You can't even really claim that you are a Christian. Again, just because you know everything in the Bible from beginning to end, and you can recall it forward and backward, makes no difference. It doesn't make you holier or more sacred if you can't even live by the simple values that Jesus tried to instill in us. All right, that's my whole point. I hope you can hear me. Please like, subscribe, share, make comments, even if you hate it. I expect to be well hated for saying these kind of things. So I welcome your hateful comments, but I'm only proving you're only proving my point. Anyway, you take care, and thank you for listening.